Hi everyone. So today I wanted to talk about a recent circumstance that we had encountered at the household. So one of our housemates developed fever symptoms and a cough. And so what happened was they dialed number 111 and ended up going to the doctors. And the doctor checked their breathing and basically said, "Well, look, your breathing's pretty good. I don't think you have the virus. Go home." And I think this is a pretty common occurrence at the moment in the UK where any mild to medium cases, the doctors will just tell you to go home and self isolate for 7 days. And in our case, it was basically like it wasn't even that, it was just go home, you don't have the virus. And they ended up going to work the next day, but probably going through some sort of self induced guilt trip. They told their company that they had symptoms, and the company then told them to go home and self isolate just to be safe for 7 days. And so that's what happened. But as most people do get a bit paranoid when they talk to family, uh, they spoke to their family, and being from Italy, the situation is pretty bad over there right now, and their parents got paranoid, called their local doctor, and they had a FaceTime conversation with the housemate, and the doctor said, um, well, from the sounds of your symptoms, it sounds like you may have the virus. So I think it would be safe to continue that quarantine to the standard, which for their local standard is 14 days self isolating. So that's what happened. So officially, in the local health service, they basically said you don't have the virus, but just to be safe. And what happened next was yeah, I think everyone knows about the panic buying in the supermarkets, and for several days prior to what I'm going to discuss in a sec, um, to this situation, they couldn't buy food, and so then I overheard this conversation, and I spoke to some of the people who live in the house separately, and found out that they don't have a lot of food stores. So if I were to share out my food stores, we would probably only last just over a week. And I already noticed that there's not a lot of toilet roll in the house. There's like from a few days ago to when I went out to shop, um, we only had like half a roll in each toilet, and over the course of 3-4 days, we went down from like 3-4 rolls to like none. So yeah, I'm not gonna discuss too much on who might have taken it or whatever. But yeah, I wanted everyone in the house to be able to still act rationally and not have to succumb to probably, I don't know, taking each other's food or anything drastic like that. Um, so I was forced to break this supposing 14-day quarantine guideline for anyone who lives with people with symptoms, right, in the UK. And so I spent all night researching how to make a mask, and I made myself a full gear mask. It was basically like tissue paper and pocket tissues folded in half and then taped together. It was like wrapped all around this face, and then I wore glasses and I had like a plastic film over the top. So, and I also wanted to talk about was the idea behind wearing a mask is not to protect yourself, and it's to protect other people from your possible virus or asymptomatic virus basically. And being in this situation, I had to assume that I could be asymptomatic, and I haven't had any symptoms, no nothing, completely healthy, but just to protect anyone that I might come in contact with. And the reason why places like Hong Kong have done so well during this pandemic is that because everyone in Hong Kong is super cautious, they practice hygiene, and everyone wears a mask. Practically like 90% people wear a mask. And so whether you're asymptomatic or not, that virus is going to be prevented from spreading to other people. And that's why their case numbers up till now, which is the midnight of 23rd, so probably 23rd over there, they still have 300 or less cases over this whole situation, and I think that's a tremendous effort and result. And so I followed some of their official guidelines from Hong Kong, and I made my own mask and I went out shopping. So I bought food stores back so that, not just not just for me. I followed the limit purchase and bought enough food to try and share out between our housemates, because some people still have to go to work. They don't actually have a choice, because not everyone is completely covered by the UK cover scheme, and some people still have to go to work, so they don't have a choice. And the other person is in quarantine, so they can't go out. So I'm practically the only one who can, and there are another two housemates which no one really talks to, and they just do their own thing, and they don't really come into contact with any of us. So they just pretend they didn't hear anything. But that's another story for another time. And so that is the situation, and a little pandemic household drama for you. So if you like this video, comment below and let me know what you thought. If you thought I was a complete scumbag, I'd like to hear that. If you have any advice that you think I could have handled the situation better, I would also like to hear about that. So subscribe if you haven't, and hit that bell down there so you don't miss new updates for this whole pandemic period, since it's not like I can do any other work. I will try to cover as much content to remind people to stay safe and not overlook any situations where you might accidentally contaminate yourself without knowing. And hope everyone stays healthy, stay strong, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Thanks.